Let's get the question out to you this morning. And what is your take on the recent killings in South Africa and what's been happening with women? We've just been hearing stories every single day emerging, and it's been absolutely devastating for every single one of us here that's been listening to it. But what do we do? What is the issue? I mean, I read an article that was published yesterday, and it was one of the most devastating articles because it took into account a whole bunch of men that are rapists and that had raped women, and it spoke to them. It was an interview with men that rape, and the reality is that every single one of them did not feel sorry for what they did. They would do it again. They felt that it was their right to take a woman in whichever way they want to, and the bottom line was that none of them have ever been held accountable for the rape that they have done. And that is the biggest worry. If you know that you can commit a crime and get away with it, why will you stop? And that's something that we need to understand. So today, that's the question, that's the broadcast. Let's go back now to Palesa and find out what it is that she has in store for us this morning. Palesa.
Couldn't go through housing. Once again to our viewers who's still coming to you live from Bara Taxi rank right on my far right, and there is Chrisani Baragwanath Academic Hospital on my far left. But what you see on your screens right now, burning tires. Apparently there is a protest that will take place in this area today, and as we were driving into Diepkloof this morning, some roads were even blockaded with burning tires and objects. But apparently the residents in this area specifically, they're protesting against the lack of housing. Well, but this morning we're discussing quite an important issue, an issue of national importance. Like I said, the spate of rape that we see happening to young women here in South Africa. Today, Garabo Mokoena will be laid to her final rest. But as promised, we're taking this discussion further really with the Minister of Women and Children and the Presidency, Minister Susan Shabangu. Ma'am Shabangu, good morning to you and thank you so much for coming through.
Morning. Thanks for inviting me.
Now, a lot of people, when these incidents were reported, they went on social media to say, where is Umam Shabangu? She's the minister responsible for this portfolio, but she's not saying anything. What is the ministry saying?
Well, I must say that they might be right to say I'm not saying anything, but we were involved working on the ground in trying to mobilize society, but also interact with various stakeholders and various people. For instance, we recently had a meeting with sex workers, which included women who were abused. So one is not just sitting down, it's about what action do we need to do? What is it that as society we must do in making sure that we address the matter? It's good to articulate through social media. It's good to make sure that we are in papers, but very key, it's about reaching out to those people who are abused, who are victims, as we are doing today. And I think we've reached a crisis as a country where we need everyone. We don't need to attack each other or to blame each other, but we need to unite and make sure all the gaps which we have in our society, we close up in really fighting against the scourge of violence against women in our society.
Right. As you're saying, Minister, that we've reached a level of crisis in South Africa because of this incident, can you really say that South Africa is a gender-violent country?
Well, we can really say we've reached a level where gender violence is unacceptable in our country. We've done everything. We have laws, good laws which intends to deal with gender-based violence. We've got laws which intends to make sure that rights of women are recognized. But what we are recognizing and seeing these days is more attack on women, and in a very brutal manner. And I want to say, for all of us, we don't need to play a blame game. But what we've got to do, we must make sure that we mobilize ourselves, communities, and we are able to work as a collective, because this is not time for blaming each other. It's a period of working together, of changing the mindset and going deeper to what are the root causes of these men who continues to inflict pain on women in our country. Because it's also, we cannot divorce this particular situation to the level of crimes in our country. If you look at the level of crimes and the brutality which they contribute, it really calls on all of us as society, government, communities, civil society organization, private sector, to work together in finding the root cause and addressing this challenge with which it's affecting our communities.
Minister, I'm just going to ask you to Osondele just closer to me so that I can bring into the discussion Colleen Mon from Gender Links, as well as Javu Baloyi from the Commission of Gender Equality. It's a very good morning to you, and thank you so much for joining us here on Morning Live. Minister is saying that the programs are there, but I think the main question, Colleen, is are they really visible in producing the desired results?
I'm very happy to hear the Minister talking about a collective response, because what is clearly required here is a very cohesive, coherent national strategy to deal with this issue that brings together everyone in society. I think what we've been seeing is a very sort of reactive response. We've had a terrible tragedy that has brought us all together. Social media has played a huge role. But it's been sporadic in terms of the leadership around this. We've had an MEC here, an MEC there. We've had the minister today. But what we need is a very coherent strategy around this issue, because, as the minister has said, it is clearly not something that any one person is going to resolve. We also need religious leaders. We had the Council of Churches, for example, yesterday talking about the South Africa we pray. The South Africa we pray surely must be one in which all of us are safe, women, men, boys, girls, children. We need to hear from the pulpit of every country this being said as well.
Let me just bring you here, Babjabu, as the Commission for Gender Equality. I'm looking at the stats here. 1 in 5 women who are in relationships have in a way experienced abuse or violence. These statistics are shocking.
Yes, thank you so very much. The statistics are alarming, are not shocking, they're alarming because, we have, as a Commission for Gender Equality, engaged with various formations, and also people coming unto us to say, look, even if when I go to the police, we're told that, it should happen not for the first time, it should happen for the second time. We need to bring the police into to understand the sensitivity of this, the scourge of the gender-based violence that is taking billions a year because of these kind of things that is happening there. There's a study that has been done. Even our commission has done some studies on this. We have even said that, what we need now, it's a concerted effort by everybody involved. Men's formation have to come on board. Like the minister have said, we have to bring the church on board like it used to be before. We need to speak with one voice and condemn this one, because the statistics, it's only those that we know that are being reported. What about that in the far-flung areas where people cannot report? That's what is worrying us, and we're glad that the minister is speaking up on this and is calling upon us as a commission and Gender Links, Gender Justice, to come together with her and have a vision for the country and work with the police, work with the judicial system, because that's where the problem is. There are systematic issues that need to be dealt with within the judiciary, because we cannot have a situation whereby there's inconsistencies insofar as punishing the offenders of this the heinous crimes.
Minister, the issue of the judiciary failing the victims of rape and violence in South Africa, it is a major concern. I mean, I was listening to a radio, I think it was during the week. A lady was assaulted by a taxi driver. She went to open a case at a police station, and then she was returned. She was told, no, go back to the taxi association and let them sort it out. So that is part of what women are facing when they go to police stations to go and report this violence. I believe that is what you're also getting as well.
Well, I think I must say that, as I've indicated, we've got good laws. But it's the human being, it's the warm bodies behind those laws. Because no law says that you must go and talk to or resolve the matter with the taxi association. That it also shows the attitudes, but it also reflects the patriarchal society we're still living in South Africa. Lack of understanding, men who are not able to understand the extent of this violence which is causing our society as a whole. It's not only the police, yes, the judiciary, but it's also about how do we make sure that our own society, the own people, taxi drivers understand. We can blame the judiciary, but if the mindsets are not going to change, if attitudes are not going to change of men, when men don't accept that women are human beings, they also have rights to be where they are, it's not going to come to an end. Yes, there need to be a judiciary which must play its role, but key, it's about men coming out strongly I want to appeal to men in South Africa. We cannot fight this battle as women alone. We need men from all sectors, religion, private sector. All men must come out. Those men who claim to be good men in our society must stand up and raise their voices and say that this is not going to happen in their names, because it affects every man. That is why it's trending now, the hashtag men are trash, because women feel hopeless, women feel scared, women cannot walk the streets anymore. So I believe that we can have judiciary which must respond, but it's not enough. We need warm bodies. We need men to take a stand in support of women, because women, this battle has been fought by women for over a period of time. It cannot be won by women. It has to be won by society as a whole. It has to be won by men who are committing in making sure that they change attitudes, but they galvanize, support, and respect women.
We're going to get to the hashtag men are trash. We quickly need to take an ad break. When we come back, we continue the discussion with the minister, with Colleen from Gender Links and Ubab Javu from the Commission of Gender Equality. Stay tuned.